Yes, a very good morning to one and all. This is Dr. P. Lavanya, working as Associate Professor in MBA Department in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal. So, last videos we have seen regarding the production and relating to the production curves of short run, long run, and after that we have seen related to the economies of the scales. And after that videos we have seen regarding that what is the cost and various relationship with the cost and its related terms. So the last video we have seen cost and what are the different types of cost which are very much essential or useful in case of managerial decision making. So along with that, today we want to see what is the relationship between these cost and output. So last class we have seen regarding that how the cost is useful to the management. Maybe we have a different cost, input cost, output cost, maybe we have marginal cost, average cost, total cost. We have seen different types of cost and its managerial utilization. So here, when we comes under the production pattern, so how these cost was related with the output means whatever the amount of output we want to produce. So what is the effect or the relationship we can examine between the cost and the output. So with the proper understanding of this nature and the behavior of the cost, so it is must for the regulation for the and the control of the cost of production. Right? Because when you know what type of the cost we are utilizing in the production, then only I can control the cost such that the cost of the production will be decreases. So this cost of production will depends upon money forces and also understanding of the functional relationship of cost to the various forces which takes place in the decision making. As we know, this cost of production is always it's related with a monetary benefit or the investment what we call like money, and it is also related to the various other factors means what type of decision we want to take. So which cost to be considered, what we have seen in the last videos. So what is the functional relationship means what are the forces or the different types of costs are there and how they are affecting our decision. We can see by these examining of this cost and output relation. So in case of this production pattern, we can take it is the cost factor is very much important in case of influencing of output. Once when we want to get a desired output, what an organization want to provide, for that purpose, we must and should attend or we should must and should identify that what type of cost will be influencing. So here, the cost output relation plays an important role in order to determine the optimum level of production. Means optimum in the sense we can say like a desired level. Means what sort of output, desired output. Means desired, what we want to produce within the organization. So for that desired output, this cost and output relation is very much important, and at the same way knowledge of this cost means at what type of output, what sort of costs are there. Means mainly we used to identify this fixed cost and variable cost. So how they behave when the output was increased, what is the pattern of fixed cost, what is the pattern of variable cost, at what level these costs are increasing. So when I have the knowledge of this cost, then I can take in a perfect decisions or where I can take the decision relating to the controlling of the cost and I want to produce the optimum production manner. So with this relation of this cost and output, the manager can also take decisions which relates to the controlling of the cost. As we know that I want to control when the cost is more, then I'll find out that maybe the material cost is more, then the manager will find out that where he can decrease or where he can go for cost reduction and prevention techniques. As we know that cost reduction means reduction of the cost, reducing the cost means unnecessary wastage to be eliminated. And when you comes under these cost prevention techniques, as we know that prevent, before only we'll take some measure where the total production cost will not go beyond certain level, means some precautionary measures will take in case of cost prevention, which are the both two important tools in case of this cost control. And at the same way, we can go for profit prediction. Only when I know the cost, then I can estimate the profit. So without knowing the cost, we can't say what is the profit to be identified. Means when I know the particular cost of for example, a pen, the total cost of the pen may be 8 rupees. Then I can identify, yes, it is cost of 8 rupees. Then I'll add 2 rupees of profit and I can sell for 10 rupees. Means here the profit prediction, how much profits we can add, and at the same way, what is an amount I am getting, means predict maybe 10 lakhs, 1 lakh, 30,000, 50,000, how much profit I can get from the market. So these sort of prediction techniques also we can identify in case of identifying this nature and behavior of cost and output relationship. And along with this cost prediction, pricing and promotions and other types of benefits can also be exercised. Means as I said that in profit prediction, only when I know the cost, maybe the total cost is 8 rupees for any product. Then what is the price? When we add the profit, then the profit may be of, I said that maybe like 2 rupees. So what is the total price of the product? That is 10 rupees. So identifying of a price of the product, 100% we requires the total cost of the product. And at the same way, what type of promotional expenditure we want to keep relating to the promotional aspect, what we are giving upon maybe in the advertisement or any other promotional activities, then we can identify by the total cost. If the total cost is expending more, then automatically we want to keep the promotional expenditure will be very, very less. Maybe if the total cost is less and where we can add more amount of promotional expenditure and we can increase the price here. Why? Because if the price is total cost is more and when the competitor is giving the same product at less price and we keep more amount for the promotion and total price increases, automatically the competitor will give at a lower price and will provide at a higher price. So we have to be very cautious at this situation, saying that the promotional expenditure should not exceed more. So they must and should be optimum. So in this manner, these are the some of the importance or the advantages of the areas where we can identify and take the decision relating to the cost and output relation. So, and this we'll see what is the relationship between this cost and output is determined. So technically, we can describe this relationship which is called as the cost function. Means what is the cost function? It is a function which explains the relationship between cost and its determinants. So what are affecting? So what type of things, maybe price, profit, technology, whatever the thing which is affecting my cost, that was considered in the function. So that type of function we'll call it as a cost function. So here where we have the cost function, that is C is equal to F of S, O, P, T. So where we can see C, it is a cost or unit or total cost, where we can say like it is a cost function also, where we can say F is the function of, means this unit cost or the total cost, what are the factors affecting, that is function of, relate to the S, that is size of the plant or scale of production. Means what is the size of the plant, maybe small scale production, medium scale production or larger scale production. So we should consider the capacity of the plants what we are utilizing, or maybe the scale of production, large scale production, medium scale production or the small scale production. So based upon that we can have the cost function relationship. So S determines the size of the plant and scale of the production. And when you comes for the O, it is called as output level. Means For these small scale production, what amount of the output we are getting? Maybe medium scale, what is an amount we are getting, or larger scale, what amount of output? The relationship between the output levels, achieved output levels to be given. Next, P is also another determinant where it depends the cost function, which we'll call as prices of inputs. As we know, the inputs of production like the price of the land, labor, capital, machinery. So as we know, the factors of the production, or maybe the inputs what we are using in the cost. So the factors we'll call as the prices of those inputs. And another important one is technology. So the change of the technology or various types of technological machineries, what they are utilizing. So the technological factor is also one of the important determinant which we can consider in case of this cost function. So along with that, any other factors or any other things which have some relationship or the effect can also be taken. That's why we have taken etc. there, such that the all the factors means which influences the cost or the determinants we can say, or we can add in the cost function. So here we can say the cost function, it is the relationship between cost and its determinants, and the determinants, or maybe we can call like size of the plant, or maybe the output, prices of inputs, technology, or any other influencing factors. And while considering these cost function, we have this cost function itself based upon the period or the nature. We have divided into two types. The classification of the cost function, where we can say like short run cost function and long run cost function. As we know, the production function or the production pattern, as we have short run production function and long run production function. Yes, we can recall the video that as we have the production functions of short run production function and long run production function. And the short run, as we have said that in the production function, it is the period is very short. So that's why we have the production pattern related to the 6 months or 1 year. And we have diminishing marginal cost production. And at the same way, long run we have where the factors of the production, where we can alter all the factors, and the period is also more, such that we can have law of returns to scale. Already we have seen in the last videos regarding how they have gone. So the same way comes under the cost. So cost also we have short run cost function and long run cost function. Short run cost function means where we can say the firms or the period will be very less when we compare to the long run cost function. Or we can say that short run cost function affects only one or two factors could be variable. All factors cannot be variable. And we can give like a definition saying that the short run cost function is that period during which, means the period or 6 months or the 1 year, the period during which the physical capacity of the firm is fixed, where we cannot change. Means physically the surroundings or the production pattern, what the capacity of the plants will be fixed, and output could be increased only by existing capacity. So whatever available within the organization, with that only I can by optimum utilizing the capacities of the plant or any other internal factor, I can go for increasing my production by existing capacity. Why? Because here in the short run the time period is limited. So for this limited time period, I can't arrange or I can't make some sort of additional things or add additional things within the organization. So due to the lack of the time, I will increase my production by enhancing the total production by increasing the existing capacity, by utilization of the existing capacity with optimum production function. So where we can have increased the production. and allow to bring the change in the output by physical capacity of the firm. Means with existing capacity only I'll increase the output. Means with whatever available, optimum means maximum I'll utilize them and I'll go for increased production. So this is due to the lack of time where the extra facilities whatever we required we are unable to arrange from outside. So that's why we have optimum production or more production will done with whatever the facilities we are having. So this is the definition relating to the short-term output. So when we comes under the relationship what is existing between the cost and output in case of short run, so we'll see what is the uses of different cost or the behavior of the cost could be identified. So what are the cost affecting in cost and output relation means the first cost we can say like total cost. So already we know what is total cost means. What is the total means the total fixed and variable cost whatever we'll keep. The cost are divided into two types. Already we have seen. One is fixed cost and another one is variable cost. So fixed cost is fixed for different types of some particular capacity. Variable cost is varies according to the units. So here the total where we comprise means the total fixed and variable cost we will call it as a total cost. And we have another concept which we will call like average cost. So when the total cost means the clubbing of fixed and variable will get total. When the total was divided with a quantity then we will get an average cost. And next cost affecting this cost and output relation was marginal cost. So marginal cost means as we know about like additional cost what we are having. So additional cost to the additional output we will call it as a marginal cost. So the explanation is also given at the below where the total cost means it is actual money spent upon the particular quantity of a output. So we can get this total cost by having total fixed cost plus total variable cost. And up to certain level of production this total fixed cost is fixed means by utilizing capacity to minimum level the total fixed cost will not be changed. So we can get this fixed cost maybe like a plant, buildings, equipments so which are fixed. So for that we which are remain fixed we will taking under as a total fixed cost. But when you comes under variable cost, total variable cost, where variable cost means it is utilized per unit cost. Maybe for like labor, material and other things. Maybe if 2 labors are used, I'll pay only 2 rupees. Only 2 rupees or the 2 persons I'll pay for them. If 3 are used, I'll pay for 3. Means based upon the number of the people, I'll pay the amount. Means variable cost will varies per unit. Means it will not be fixed for certain capacity. So these two addition we are able to get in case of total cost. And after that we'll see what is an average cost is the total cost per unit. So how we are able to get these average cost means that is average cost AC is equal to total cost by Q means Q means quantity. So whatever the amount of input we are keeping inside that is the total cost divided by the number of units what we produce the quantity then we are getting an average cost per unit. So the total fixed cost when it has been divided by the quantity where the production will comes down and increases the average cost means when more units of variable cost was used where the total fixed cost will increases and average cost will also be increased. When we see these variable cost, we get a variable cost by dividing the total variable cost by quantity. Means here it will remains constant at a level of output. Means at some levels this variable cost will be constant. And after that level the variable cost will goes on rising. So we can see what is in a marginal cost here. Marginal cost as we know additional cost due to the additional production of additional unit. Means when one more additional unit was produced, what is an additional cost made to that unit, we'll call it as a marginal cost or additional cost. So this marginal or additional cost we can arrive by dividing the changes done by the total cost by change in the total output. Means the changes what we'll get is when this total cost has been divided by this total output, any changes occur maybe in the average variable cost or maybe in the fixed cost, we are able to identify. So these are the three types of cost, as like we want to get the total cost, we want total fixed cost and total variable cost, and you should find out average cost, and also we should find out the marginal cost. So these are the three important costs which we are able to identify. So next we'll go for what is a short run cost function with the help of table and graph, and also we'll go for long run cost function. So before going for the short run or long run cost function, here we want to say what is the trend of a cost function. So always we used to identify the cost functions or the cost curve. What we'll say like a cost curve. All cost curves are U-shaped curves. So we used to identify this is in a U-shaped curve. So what is the main reason of this cost curve to be U-shaped? So normally maybe a large scale production or maybe the small scale production. So when we start the production at starting level, we has to keep all types of cost. And in the thing what we have two types of cost is that is fixed cost, and we have FC, that is fixed cost and variable cost. VC means variable cost. So when these two types of costs are there, as we know, fixed cost is fixed to at a certain level of capacity, and variable cost is that where we should keep per unit. It is varies according to the unit. So due to the fixed cost at certain level, the fixed cost is constant. So here the total production will decreases, means the total cost will be decreases due to utilization of the fixed cost at a certain level, means up to certain level. If you want, for example, if I take in a room for production, the rent of the room may be 5,000 rupees per month. So if I use the production maybe 2 times a month or 3 times a month, the rent of the room is 5,000 for 1 month. So here the capacity for utilization room, maybe you can utilize for 30 days, maybe utilize for 5 days or 10 days, but we should pay 5,000 rupees. Means the fixed cost is constant. But variable cost, when we goes on, that is like marginal cost. When we goes on increasing one unit for the other, the variable cost will increases. Whereas the total fixed cost will be decreases when the production increases. Though the variable cost was increasing, but up to certain level, the production cost, that is the total cost will decreases. Means until utilization of capacities, existing capacities, whatever are there, when we utilize them, that up to certain levels, the cost, the total cost will decreases. After this capacity was exhausted, for example, if I said that a room rent is 5,000 rupees, after 30th, means after utilizing 30 days, when first comes, maybe you go for production for 1 day or 2 days also, you must and should pay the 5,000 of rent. Means once again I should keep the fixed cost, means rent, then along with variable cost, the fixed cost will also increases. Automatically after this level, means after this minimum point, the capacity was exhausted, automatically the fixed cost will adds and the total production tend to increase, means the total cost will increases. So that's why we should identify the point where the total capacities of the plant and other units are maximum utilized at a minimum cost, and after that when we utilize, the total cost will increase. So that's the main reason we can identify that always the cost curves are the U-shaped curves. Maybe in case of short run or maybe in case of long run. So the next we'll see that what is a short run cost function. Already we have seen short run means it's a period is very less and where we can't increase the capacity of the plants, what is present, that existing plant capacity only will utilize to increase my production. So we'll see with the help of the table saying this cost and output relation. So in this table we have taken the number of units in the first column, and that is in the first column we have number of units and total fixed cost in the second column, total variable cost in the third. And what is total cost? When we add this total fixed cost with the total variable cost, then we are getting the total, that is TC, that is total cost. Then another cost whatever we want is average variable cost. So already I have told that how we are getting average variable cost, when total variable cost, that is total variable cost is divided by the number of quantity or the units produced, then you are getting average variable cost. And how you are getting average fixed cost? Only when this total fixed cost was divided by the number of units, you are able to get the average fixed cost. Then as we know what is an average cost means total cost divided by the number of units, means when TC is divided by Q, that is quantity, what is our the quantity produced, then we are getting, how we will get total cost? When I add these average variable cost and average fixed cost, you are getting average total cost, which is divided by the quantity, you are able to get the average cost. And the last that we can say like this column will gives us the additional, that is marginal cost, means for existing output or existing nature, how many units we additionally produced will getting in the marginal cost, which we will call like MC. So in this table we can identify saying that giving that the output was increased from 0, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one unit of output was increased, means quantity was increased. One unit was quantity, we'll take that fixed cost is or fixed output whatever may be 60. So whatever maybe we'll go for 60 units, means as we know fixed cost will not change, it is constant or fixed. So that's why maybe for 1 unit of output 2, 3, 4 whatever may be the fixed cost is constant, that is 60 units as we have taken as a constant fixed cost. And when you comes under the second one, like total variable cost, as we know the total variable cost means variable cost is changes according to the unit. When 1 unit increases, variable cost will also increases. So for 1 unit, the variable cost is 20. When we implemented 2 units of output, the variable cost was increased to 36. Yes. And after that 48, 64, 90, it goes on increasing. Yes. So by implementing more units, the variable cost will also increase. Then we are getting the total cost. How the total cost? When I add these total fixed cost plus total variable cost, that we are getting the total cost, that is 60 units or that 0 point, that is 60. But at 1 unit implemented 60 plus 20, we are getting 80 units of variable cost. And when 2 units are implemented 60 plus 36, we are getting 96 units of total cost. Means by addition of these two, that is fixed plus variable cost, you are able to identify the total cost. And when I want to get these average variable cost, already we have seen that total variable cost divided by quantity. So when 1 unit of output was there, so what is the total variable cost? 20. So here we can say like 20 divided by 1, we are getting 20. And when 2 units are implemented, then I have the total variable cost of 36. So we'll get 36 divided by 2, you are getting 18. as a total variable cost. Here 48 divided by 3, you are getting 60. Means here we can identify that when the total variable cost is divided by number of the units, we have been getting this average variable cost. At the same sequence, we can get that average fixed cost, as fixed cost is divided by number of units. So here 60 divided by 1, we are getting 60 units. And we get second one, that is total fixed cost, that is 60 divided by 2, you are getting 30 units. When you have divided 60 divided by 3, then we are getting 20 units. So as goes on. So means when this total fixed cost is divided by number of units, we are getting the average fixed cost. Then we want average cost. Average cost means I have seen total cost. What is total cost here at first? For 1 unit, the total cost is 20. Yes? Yes, total fixed cost plus total variable cost, you are having 80 as a total cost. So when these 80 has divided by 1 number of unit, then you are getting 80. Next we have total cost, that is fixed plus variable, you got second unit 96. When 96 is divided by 2, then you are getting 48. When these 108 was divided by 3, you are able to get 36. Means this total cost column, whatever we are having, when it divided by number of output, you are getting the total cost, that is average cost, or we'll call it like when total cost is divided by quantity. Next, for this we have another column tending that marginal cost. Means here we should identify that what is additionally we produced by utilizing the existing capacity. Whatever the capacity we have, with that what we additionally produced. So for that we has to see that what is in a total fixed cost plus variable cost, that is 80. Yes. So first we have seen that no variable cost is there. At 0 units you have 60 of total cost. When total cost is 60 units minus 80, you are getting 20 as additional. Means first it means the starting point it is 60 units. At the completion of 1 year, the production was 80. What we additionally produce 60 minus 80, you are getting 20 additional products. When you have this 80 minus 96 means additional production. So the last year, 1 year to 2 years differences, 80 minus 96, 16 we additionally produced. And when I have seen that 96 minus 108, yes, so 96 minus 108, then you are producing additional production is 12. Means here we should identify that what are the total cost when it has been taken from the last year. Means from last total cost to the year 1, from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, we can identify what is an extra output we produced by utilizing this, by utilizing the existing capacities. Yes, sir. So with this you can have been identified. So for short run cost and output relations, already we have been said that it's related to the cost run production function, what is called as the law of diminishing marginal utility. Already we have seen for short run production, law of diminishing marginal utility, and for long run production, it is written to scale. Yes, sir. So in this, the cost function also same. In the short run we have, as we know that law of diminishing utility will have already in the production function. When we recall the short run production function, which we'll call as law of diminishing marginal utility, where it is having 3 stages. Yes. So stage 1, we'll call it like increasing return. So as goes on, increasing returns. And stage 2, as we know, constant. That is, as we can say, like first stage, it is increasing returns in the law of returns to scale, or law of diminishing marginal utility. Stage 2 already we know, constant returns. Yes, and stage 3 as we know it is diminishing or declining returns. So the same in the cost output also we can identify these three stages in case of these short-run cost function. So as we can say that the buildings, factory, interest on capital, salary, some are fixed. So by utilizing these fixed capacities, so the total, and by utilizing the advantages, economies of the scales already we have seen, when large scale or when the production was increased, we'll get some economies, or the existing capacity when effectively utilized, the production tend to increase, where we can see like average, that is total production, we can see like from 60 units to 80 units and 80 units to 96 units and 90 to 108 and so on. It was going on increasing the production. But when you see the average cost, here we identify that the total average cost is 80 units was increased, and after that we can see that 48, 36, so average we are having. So when we find out in the additional also, at first by utilizing or increasing more, we are getting 20 units, and after that 16, 12, means maximum increased we are able to identify. And after that, when you have seen in the variable cost, the second stage we are able to identify like constancy, means as the fixed cost falls, automatically the variable cost will increases, as we know. Why? Because fixed cost will fixed for certain capacity. So when though the total production increases also, the fixed cost will the same. So though variable cost increase also, the total production will goes on increasing. So where we are able to identify that up to fourth unit, where we can have the rise in the total production, where the variable factors or the capacity within the organization was optimum capacity was effectively utilized. Later, we can identify that average cost, when the fifth unit was increased, here that AC, in case of average cost, after increasing it tend to decrease, as we identified that from 80, 48, maybe 36, next you have 31. It tend to decrease or comes to attain a constant age due to the exhausting of the fixed capacities, means effectively when we are using the fixed capacity, when it was come to end, the capacities was totally exhausting, where we are able to identify their optimum utilization, and where we can see that average variable cost starts increasing or rising, which says from the sixth unit, average cost or average variable cost will also increases. So with this we can say that average fixed cost will continuously falls with increase in the output. When increase was increasing and capacity was exhausted, after fixed, what I said, only 1 month up to 30 days the rent is 5,000. If first comes, I must again pay the another 5,000, means where the average fixed cost means capacity was exhausted, then we go for utilizing the another, means more another, once again we should keep the fixed cost. So here that average variable cost is more than declining than average fixed cost, where by these the total cost will also be increases. So here we can say that telling that average variable cost and total cost again begin to rise and start where average variable cost are also increases. So we can see in the table like as average fixed cost increases and average total cost increases and average variable cost. So here we can identify that once again there was a total increase, means third stage. So the cost was increasing, means the output was diminishing here. So the total cost once again started to rise. We can say like the cost itself or the total cost itself was increasing and the returns or capacity utilization was exhausted. So the total production declines and cost will increases in the third stage. So with this, we can say that above table has been given relating to the increasing or diminishing of cost, where the return increases and the cost will also diminishes, follows the constancy of returns, and after that we can also see that the cost was increasing and production was decreasing, which we'll call like diminishing returns. So this we can also identify in case of graphical representation, this short-term relationship, as we have seen that average fixed cost, which is trending from, already I have told that all costs are U-shaped curves. So this is average fixed cost where it stands like a U-shaped curve. And when these average variable cost is also, it's below the average fixed cost. Why? Because always the fixed cost will be constant for certain period, but variable cost always will increases. So that's where it comes from below the variable average fixed cost. In that, when we have seen that what is average cost means, it is also cost, it comes under the U-shaped, which tend to given by the constancy or the mark or the point where we are able to identify the point where you are the meeting of these two, average fixed and variable cost, we can get the average, total average cost. So here an identification we can done that additional cost is also cuts here. So here we can say that we are able to get the maximum cost with the minimum output. Means the maximum output where we can get is OP, and the cost is minimum. After that the cost will increase. Means at this point the total cost will be at a constant level by utilization of total capacity. So by utilizing the capacity, beyond that capacity means like OC, if I go beyond this capacity, once again cost will increase. And with this cost, we have a maximum output where we can call like OP is in a constancy, or we can say that maximum production, and OC is a minimum cost, which we have given in case of this short run output. So this relationship that is belonging to the average variable cost and average fixed cost and average total cost could be summarized saying that if both average fixed and variable falls, means fixed and variable falls, average total cost also falls. When average fixed cost falls, but average variable cost will increase. We should summarize saying that both when average fixed and variable falls, automatically total cost, average total cost falls. But when fixed cost falls, but average variable cost will increase. So at this point, average total cost will fall, where drop in the total fixed cost and then rise in the average variable cost. So here we can say the constants of total cost when there is a drop in fixed cost and rise in variable cost. So this average total cost will rises when fixed cost, means average fixed cost decreases and increase of the variable cost. And means here to average fixed cost will rise when it increase, when average fixed cost decrease and average variable cost increase. So this is the summarization relating to the short run cost and output relation. And the next we have the long run cost and output relation. So when we have seen these cost and output in the long run, as we have said that long run means where we can utilize the total capacities, or where is a lot of time period will be there. Long run means we can say like it is 5 years or beyond 5 years. So the period will be more and we are able to include or add more amount of the inputs or capacities. So because of lot of time period where the time period was not fixed. Like short run, we have a fixed time period and capacity cannot be changed. But in the long run, all things could be changed. So the capacities can also be changed. So in the long run, the firm can change its output according to its demand. So based upon the marketing demand, whatever we want to change, each and everything could be changed. So over this period, not only the small things, we can change like size of the plant or whatever we required we can keep, whatever we don't want we can sell. Maybe like if you don't want some buildings or any plants or exhausted, means worn out plants which are not in utilization, or the buildings where the production was not taken, like that we can sold, or we can purchase new type of land, build a factory. So all changes, means whatever the changes are required to change according to the demand of the production, totally we can go for changes in the long run. So this long run enables the organization to expand the scale of its operations, means to increase the production, expanding the production by bringing maybe like purchasing of the goods maybe in the large quantities, or maybe increasing the labor, maybe getting a new technological plants. So all types of inputs, whatever the required for large scale operation. So all these type of large scale operation inputs to be changed. So thus this long run we can say that all factors are variable, means and as like a production, each and every factor is variable. So here we can identify the relationship between the total cost and total output, and we can symbolize this, or we can enumerate what we have seen, like the law of return to the scale which we got in case of long run production function. So in the long run production we have seen law of return to scale. What this law of return to scale has given us, there are two returns, that is increasing returns, constant returns, and we have decreasing returns. So in this cost function also, in the long run, when we are taking the output, that is production, into the consideration, we are able to identify these three types of returns, that is increasing, constant and decreasing returns in case of law of returns to scale. So in the long run, whatever the alternatives we have, what are the available resources where we can expand our production or increase our production, we can add all these. So for these, the scale of production or the plant of the firm can be appropriated to the short run average cost curves. Means in the long run, means we'll add the short run cost and we'll conclude as a long run cost curve. Means maybe for 1 year, the first year cost curve, maybe we'll call as short run cost curve 1. Maybe second year short run cost curve 2. Maybe third year short run cost curve 3. So like that, by addition of all these short run cost curves, we can get a long run cost curve when you want to see this cost and output in the long run. So this is a graphical representation where by addition of short run cost curves, we are able to get a long run cost curve. So maybe we can see like this, as we have seen, these cost is on the y-axis, and we can see like output on the y-axis. So cost and output. So cost on the y and output on the x-axis. So as I have been said that in the long run cost curve, graphically when you want to get, I should start with a number of short run cost curves. Means for 6 months or 1 month period, what are the short run curves? Maybe this is the first SA1, that is short run cost curve 1. And this is the short run cost curve 2, SAC2. And this is the short run cost curve 3, SAC3. So here when we joined all these short run curves, we are able to identify one of the biggest curve, what we'll call it as long run cost curve. Means no need to go for keeping all that another table. What the short run cost curve got, maybe at a short run, medium level, we that will adjoin or join these short run, and we are able to get a long run cost curve. So once when you have been identifying this graphical representation, here we can see 1 as a small run cost curve, 2 and 3 as in a medium short run cost curves. We can see that saying that if organization want to produce, that is OP output, means this amount of the output, the organization can choose this first short run cost curve. Means when it want to go for an OP production where there is the capacities cannot be expanded, and we can, if my demand is related to, for example, when I have taken this to OP 10,000 units. So when the demand of the market was relating to the 10,000 units, then in the long run cost curve, I want to identify this SA short run cost curve 1. Once when the demand itself has been increased, maybe like we can say OQ, maybe we can say like 12,000 units when the demand was increased, then I want to go for medium curve, that is SA, that is short run cost curve 2, where we can say that OQ is the medium cost curve. Means from short run to I have expanded, means maximum utilize the capacity and expanded, and where I can have these medium size plants or the medium capacity I can increase. And if medium capacity required, I can't go only to this cost curve. Means with 10,000 I can't go for a medium. I want 12,000. That's why I can go for OQ as a medium capacity. So with this, when you want to go for expand more further, we can choose another large production cost curve. That is also another like a medium cost curve. Maybe like I can say SCA3. It is also one sort of cost benefits where I can identify maybe the total cost was increased at short run cost curve 3, but here it is also comes under the medium. That is short run cost curve 2 and 3 will also comes under the medium benefited. So when I want this long run curve, that what we'll call like a long envelope cover. It is called as envelope cover or curve, which by addition of short run cost curve 1, 2 and short run cost curve 1 and medium 2 and 3, when I add all these, the points where we are getting like R, this one. So it's an F, R, Q, P. So where the adjoining of the points of short run 1, 2, 3, where you are able to identify short run 1, 2, 3. So with these I am able to get this long run average cost curve. Yes, which we can call like an envelope cover. So in this we can see that how this long run cost curve could be identified by considering the short run cost curves and giving a total, means a large scale production cost curve. So with this we can have the maximum cost, maximum output we can achieve with a less cost with this long run cost curve. So here we can see the cost and output relations relating to the long run, and where this is also called as this long run envelope cover is also called as a planning curve. Means by looking this curve, so future planning for the organization relating to the entrepreneur, so they can expand, how far they can expand their organization in the future can be identified or can get some idea, or they have an estimation by analyzing these long run cost curve. So with these, the firm, means with the help of these long run cost curve, the firm able to determine the size of the plants, which yields us lowest average cost of producing or giving us a maximum or volume of the output what is anticipated or demanded. Means by enhancing or composing these short run curves, with that when I plan to have a long run curve, maybe cost curve for 5 years or 6 years, which will help us to have a good planning in the future relating to the cost minimization or a reduction of the cost and increasing the output or suiting our output or by forecasted what the demand we have been forecasted. For that, I am able to produce the goods and services to the market. So this is about this long run and short run cost and output relationship. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.